Hi everyone, good morning. Jonathan Mills-Patrick with you today here at the airport, getting ready to hand it to San Diego, but wanted to drop you a quick post to talk a little bit about how the idea of demand for your product or your service can create commoditization. What I mean by commoditization is where there's so much competition, so much demand that other companies have entered the fray, and therefore it's forcing you to compete with them, lower your prices, and do things like that. Too much demand out in the marketplace creates that type of commoditization. A great example of it is cell phones. Early on, the early cell phone providers, they kind of had the marketplace to themselves, but later as cell phones became more adapted, more used, more purchased, smaller, all those different things happened. Cell phones have become a little bit commoditized. Of course, iPhone has a large chunk of the market share because they're able to continue to innovate and add new features that keep them in demand. But in general, in terms of phone functionality and things like that, it's commoditized. There's so much competition. So early in your startup's growth, you're going to note that there's just not as much demand. It takes time for your product and service to hit their marketplace. It takes time for that kind of demand to grow, for people to find out what you're doing and really be interested in it. It's a really good time to be thinking ahead, multiple versions of your product or service, multiple years down the road, about future functionality that you can add to your product or service to keep it from being commoditized and keep competitors off your back, continue to maintain or grow the market share that you have. So early in your startup phase, you're going to be busy thinking about what you're doing now, raising capital, getting your MVP out in the marketplace, but I would encourage you to carve out time to think about what happens when your demand reaches the stage that you really want it to be at. What's going to happen when competitors start to enter the fray and compete with you and commoditize your product or service? How do you combat that? How do you stay out ahead? How do you continue to innovate? And the only way to do that is to not be so short-term focused. Make sure you're carving time out to be very strategic with what you're doing and planning multiple 3, 4, 5 years down the road about how to keep competitors off your back and stand out in the crowd. Hope you have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. See you later.